Thank you for joining us on today's live broadcast of Senate Plenary. Today, Wednesday, the 30th of November, 2022. I am Ignatius Nkwo. Well, Senate has already reconvened and plenary has already taken off in earnest. Before now, Senate 5 bills for first reading as usual, and one of these bills is the bill that the President sent in yesterday on the need to give legal backing to the Nigeria Social Investment Program. And these other bills too that came in with this one, like the establishment of a national library. So that those bills have passed first reading. Now we expect second reading. And then today we expect that the 2022 budget of the Federal Capital Territory will be considered and passed today. That is also contained on the order paper. As usual, we always have with us here the Chairman Senate Committee on Rules and Business, Senator Sadiq Umar, who is always here to give us more insight into what to expect. Thank you for joining us again today.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now we've seen that some of the bills for first reading are passed, and Mr. President has announced and called that the need to pass those bills that Mr. President sent for second reading tomorrow. Now, why that the speedy consideration of those bills?
Well, like I've always said, for us in the National Assembly, we're interested in supporting the executive to be able to work for the Nigerian people. So anything that will make the work of the executive to move smoothly, to be sure that economy that is already suffering is brought back to life, anything related to security, we try to, as much as possible, pass it quickly. That's why we do that.
Now, from the order paper, are there things to expect too from the apart from some of these ones I've mentioned?
Yeah, apart from the bills that we are passing for second reading, it's important that we are taking some significant reports. One important committee on trade and investment, because we want to expand business, we want to encourage local production. So these export expansion grants that federal government are giving several communities in a tune of over 300 billion naira, we will take the report today as requested by the Mr. President, so that these Nigerian businessmen who are manufacturing and sending product out of the country for us to be able to gain, foreign, encourage them to do that.
All right. Thank you very much for your time once again.
Thank you for having me.
Now we'll go straight to the chamber to follow the day's plenary. Good morning, sir.
Thank you. Specialized National Dermatology Hospital. Those in the order +1, +2, +3, +4, +5. Stand part of the bill say aye. Those against any other say. +6, general duty of the board on page 4. Those who are at +6, +7, +8, 11 is on page 6. For financial provisions, those who are at +11, +12, +13, +14, and +15 stand part of the bill say aye. Those against any that has. +16 on page 10. Those who are at +16, +18 stand part of the bill say aye. Those against stands part of the bill. Those against Those who voted the short title on page 12, last part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Those who voted the schedule, last part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Those who last part of the bill say aye. Where's the chief whip? Where's the chief whip? We want someone that will carry the whip. Okay, come on, act. Act. You are also making noise now. Okay, the second. Those who are at plus 1, that is Chartered Institute of Statisticians of Nigeria. Those who are at plus 1, plus 2, election of president and vice president, plus 3, plus 4, and plus 5. Stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Plus 6, appointment of registrar on page 4. Those who got at the plus 6, plus 7, plus 8, plus 9, plus 11 sections. Those who got at plus 11, plus 12, plus 14, plus 15, stand part of the bill say aye. Those who vote at plus 16, plus 17, plus 18, and for the bill say aye. And those who vote at the interpretation, stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Title on page 12, stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Those who vote at the schedules 1, 2, and 3, bill say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Those who vote at the explanatory memorandum on page 20, those against say nay, the ayes have it. On page 1, those against say nay, the ayes have it. Leader of the Senate, plenary.
Okay. Distinguished colleagues, I move that the Senate revert to plenary with the short report progress.
Thank you. I rise to second the motion that the Senate do revert to plenary for the chair to report progress. I so second.
To reverse to plenary for the chair to report progress, say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Specialized National Dermatology Hostel Bill 20 plus 1 to 18 as recommended as recommended, short title as recommended, schedule as recommended, explanation. Is this a true? The Senate Institute of Statisticians of Nigeria 1 to 19 as recommended. Explanatory memorandum as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? For the Senate. The minority leader.
I saw two bills be read for the second time. That's the second.
Colleagues, favor of the motion. Those against any the ayes have it.
Distinguished Senator, to establish the specialized and management board for the meteorological treatments and for related matters 2022, third reading. Mr. President, the Institute of Statisticians of Nigeria are to be of institutes, review those standards from time to time, and for related matters
To establish national data and management board treatment training and for first. Establish the chart and skill of the institute. Time matters 2022 started in taking, and this bill is also passed. Leader of the Senate.
is the bill standing in my name on the Federal 2022. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was first read in this, the first time in this chamber, in this chamber on Tuesday, 7 December 2022, 2021. And the bill for the establishment of 868. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, permit me to lead the debate of this very important bill for the establishment of the Federal State.
After wait. At the back, please. I think maybe we need. Distinguished, please, those at the back, you are making noise. Let's listen to our colleague now. Chairman Health. I thought you had one say. ECOWAS Parliament. Please, you can go to ECOWAS Parliament. I know that's where you are supposed to. Okay. Have a good day there. Okay. Leader, continue.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, permit me to lead the debate of this very important bill for the establishment of Federal University of Technology, Savannah in Sokoto State. The bill was first read for the first time in this ballot chamber on Tuesday, 7th December 2021, and it seeks to establish the Federal University of Technology, Savannah, and the comprehensive provisions for its new management and administration. Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, the very essence of this bill is to provide a highly specialized institution that is more productive and very much needed for technological advancement of the nation. The objects of the university, among others, include to encourage the advancement of learning and to hold out to all persons without distinction of race, creed, sex, or political conviction the opportunity of acquiring a higher education in science and technology, to develop and offer academic and professional programs leading to the award of diplomas, first degrees, postgraduate research, and higher degrees with the emphasis learning, adaptive, technical, maintenance, and development and productive skills in the engineering, scientific, agricultural, medical, and applied professional disciplines with a higher moral standard and the capability not only to understand, use, and adopt the existing technology, but also to improve on it and develop new ones. To act as agent of catalysts and the catalysts through postgraduate training, research, and innovation for effective and economic utilization, exploitation, and the conservation of the country's natural and human resources. To establish appropriate relationship with other national and private institutions involved in training, research, and development of science and technology. To identify technology programs and the needs of
I think we'll change you.
The university is therefore to further advance knowledge through research and nurture unique innovations in science and technology. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the enactment of this bill will help in transforming the technological fortunes of Nigeria and producing the desired manpower and the expertise that Nigeria is here. It should be remembered that one of the cardinal goals of this administration of change is the strong development of our educational sector. Finally, in line with the Order 76 of Section 3 of the Senate Standing Order 2022 as amended, a compendium of the financial implication of the establishment of the university is hereby attached. In view of the above, I urge you all to support the expeditious passage of this bill.
The Deputy Chief Whip.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I am Aliu Sabi Abdullahi. I represent Niger North Senatorial District and from Niger State. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise. Your Excellency, I understand and I know for a fact that the debate about university establishment is contentious. However, the truth must be told. And the question to ask here is whether we have enough and whether the spread is even. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, to my knowledge, Sabon Birni in Sokoto State is located in Sokoto East. And if you look at the distance of people living in that community or that area, the closest university to them will be almost 4 hours drive. So, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, education is almost seen as a right. And I think when we give education to our young ones, that is when we are securing the future of this country. And I believe that citing this Federal University of Technology in such a location will be beneficial to the immediate communities, to Sokoto State, to Northwest, and indeed the country at large. And so I support that we approve the second reading of this bill. And of course, when it comes back, we should support the passage of this particular bill. It is going to help this country, and I believe it should become a challenge for us to sit and provide proper appropriation for universities spread all over. Because we're in a democracy, and it is wrong for you to deny access, because the key issue, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, is access. Some people are accessible to university, while some people have to go through the mill to get to the location of a university. With these few comments, I urge my colleague to support the second reading of it.
Distinguished Senator Uche Lillian Ekunifeyo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, my dear colleagues, my name is Senator Uche Lillian Ekunifeyo. Mr. President, I come from Anambra State. I represent Anambra Central. Mr. President, I would like to commend my colleague, Senator Gobri, for moving this motion for this bill. Mr. President, education is not just rights, but education should be compulsory. Technology and innovation. Mr. President, I would like to take this Senate to the last paragraph of this bill. It says, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the enactment of this bill will help in transforming the technological fortunes of Nigeria, in producing the desired manpower and expertise that Nigeria is yearning for. It should be remembered that one of the cardinal goals of this administration of change is the strong development of the educational sector. Mr. President, I think we are paying lip service to technology. If we open School of Science, Technology and Innovation, and we don't have appropriate laboratory for the students to test what they are being, then it can never be complete. Mr. President, attention to equipment, machinery, and all that.
NTA, you can't beat the rich. This week,
Advanced engineering to expand and explore and also process our local raw materials. That's what we are talking about. So I am suggesting that once we talk about opening the University of Science and Technology and Innovation, we must be able to ensure that we have enough resources to also put the laboratory in place to ensure that the student is not just acquiring the education, but acquire the right education by being skillful in the discipline that are being taught in the school. So we still have to do a lot of comprehensive school that can take care of the students that by supporting.
Those in favor that this bill be now read a second time say aye. Those against saying it, I said, Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to establish the Federal University of Technology, Sabon Birnin, Sokoto State, and for other matters connected there with 2022. Second reading.
A bill for an act to establish the Federal University of Technology, Sabon Birnin, Sokoto State, and for other matters connected there with 2022. Second reading taken. And the bill is referred to the Committee on Tertiary Institutions to report by within 2 weeks. Leader of the Senate.
The first order of the day is the second reading of the Federal College of Education, Carolina, Taraba State, 2022, LB 1052. The Super Senators will report that the bill was first on Tuesday, 27 September 2022. Mr. President, you may wish to invite to move the motion for the bill to be read the second time.
Minority Leader, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Isa Shoaibullah, representing the good people of Taraba North. Mr. President, respect, permit me to lead the debate on this very important bill for the establishment of the Federal College of Education, Karim Rani to Taraba State. The bill was read for the first time in this hallowed chamber on Tuesday, 23rd September 2020. Is predicated on the availability of knowledge on the student. Educational sector continuously produce well qualified and trained teachers in the country. Are tools for national development and lead to a expansion of quality of education in Nigeria. The objects of the college, among others, include advancement of learning to all persons or political conviction, to develop and offer award of certificates, first degrees, postgraduate research, diploma and higher degrees, with emphasis on planning, developmental and adaptive skills in education technology, commerce, humanities, management, professional discipline. To produce mature educational men and women with capabilities not to only understand educational needs of Nigeria as a nation, but to also exploit existing educational, improve to develop new ones. To act as agent and catalyst for training, research, innovation, provision of the country's human resources, and to identify educational needs of society with students within the context of overall national. Colleagues, the enactment of this bill will help not only in transforming the decade
It will apply for people who are desirous to becoming professional teachers. In line with the order 73, in line with the order 76 sub 3 of the Senate Standing Order amended, the compendium of the financial implication of the establishment of the College of Education is hereby attached. Therefore, I urge all my colleagues to support the expeditious passage of this bill. Thank you. I so move. The minority leader. You wanted to talk, I want to talk, everybody here wanted to talk. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, let me first start by saying that the deputy minority leader, distinguished Senator Isa Shah, very fantastic job in bringing up this bill. This bill is of education in Karim Lamido. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, just like every other bill which seeks to create a college for education, I believe that this bill is very, very quite straightforward. The objectives are programs for learning in the institution. So, Mr. President, distinguished all my distinguished colleagues to support this bill, which will bring about and facilitate educational learning, especially in the Karim Lamido area of Taraba State. Colleagues, with these few remarks, let me state that I urge my colleagues that we do support this bill for second reading, and if possible, send it to the that they can carry out the legislative action as deemed necessary fit. I so second this motion. Thank you. George. Thank you. JP.
Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, I am Senator George Thompson, second. So, debate on the establishment Federal College of Education in Karim Lamido. In addition to what my able leader has said, Mr. President, I want to add that coming from our several private secondary schools are being opened almost on yearly basis. And then in addition to what we already have. So they are turning out people to run the joint admission and matriculation board examination. And then in every year we are having so many persons. Of this number of persons, oftentimes.
Please. Minority whip.
Oftentimes, 50 to 60% of those who do well in term examinations are admitted. That means leaving about 30-something, 40% of those who write exams. It means that we need more tertiary institutions. So whatever we can do to establish more tertiary institutions to absorb this growing population of secondary school leavers is very important, especially these days where the secondary school leaver don't have opportunity of securing any job. We end up seeing them roaming.
Distinguished colleagues, please, the back is noisy. Please, let's listen to our colleague.
Stay here.
Mr. President, so I think that to reduce.
Please, since we have the tea room, I think it's only fair we listen to our colleagues when they speak. And if we have something to discuss, we can go to the tea room, please.
Those of us who are getting tired of the Senate should not come to chamber. Those who are very serious and interested should.
Distinguished, address the chair, please. Unless we are talking to the chair. It's what Senator Smart Ademi. Senator Smart Ademi. There's no need to harass our distinguished colleague. It's all right. You know, I don't think it's fair to do that because we are looking for people from this side. So we should be as gentle and as polite enough. You are protected, by the way. Continue.
Mr. President, thank you for your able protection. Thank you for your protection. So in concluding, I am saying that if you have more tertiary institutions, it will assist to take away secondary school leavers on our streets, and then also take away adult-minded persons who are thinking of doing something creative with their own hands and with their brain. So on this note, Mr. President, permit me to support that this bill be read a second time. So I urge all my colleagues, including the Senator Smart Ademi and Adeyo Solomon, to support this bill and let it pass speedily. Thank you.
The Sumu Senator Bulos Yarodora.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to lend my voice to the motion for the second reading of this bill as proposed by my leader. In doing so, Mr. President, I would like to say that Karim Lamido is a locality that has linkages with Adamawa and Gombe State. Siting of the College of Education in Karim Lamido will give access to people of Gombe South and people of Adamawa South to access that institution. We are in the era of knowledge, and we need qualified teachers to teach our children in both primary and secondary schools. So this bill is very critical, as are all bills having to do with education. I would like to also make a call, or repeat a call I've made before on this floor, that because of the critical role of education and the need to train teachers, qualified teachers to man our primary and secondary schools, I call on the federal government as a policy to establish a federal college of education in each of the 109 senatorial districts of this country that do not presently have one. With these remarks, Mr. President, I support the second reading of this bill, and I ask all my colleagues to also support it. Thank you.
Distinguished colleagues, those who heard this that this bill be now read the second time, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to establish the Federal College of Education, Karen Lamido, Taraba State, and for other related matters, 2022. Second reading.
A bill for an act to establish the Federal College of Education, Karim Lamido, Taraba State, and for other related matters, 2022. Second reading taken. And the bill is referred to the Committee on Tertiary Institutions and Debt Fund to report back within 4 weeks. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the first order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee on Federal Capital Territory on the 2020 FCT Appropriation Bill 2022, SB 1070. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Smart Adeyemi, the chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Distinguished Senator Smart Adeyemi, Kwaji West.
Mr. President, I rise to move that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Senate Committee on the FCT on the 2022 statutory budget. I so move, Mr. President.
Senator Frank Chukwuemeka.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. Chukwuma Frank Ibezin, representing Imo North Nigeria District. I rise to second the motion, heavily moved by Senator Smart Adeyemi. Thank you, Mr. President. I so move.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on the FCT on the 2022 FCT Appropriation Bill 2022, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Chairman, you may lead the report, please. You may present the report now.
Mr. President, let me begin by saying this is a report that has been harmonized with our colleagues in the House of Reps, which was passed yesterday in the House of Representatives. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, you recall that in line with the provision of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, as amended, the 2022 FCT Statutory Appropriation Bill was read for the first time on Tuesday, the 18th of October this year. The Senate concluded debate on the second reading on Tuesday, the 18th October, and the bill was referred to the Committee on Federal Capital Territory for further legislative action. In accordance, Mr. President, with Section 62, 80, 88, 89, and 299 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1990 as amended, the Senate and House committees on FCT met with the Honorable Minister and other relevant officials of the Federal Capital Territory Administration and deliberated on the subject matter and agreed on the modalities to handle the exercise. In carrying out the committee's oversight duties, the committee visited schools in FCT, hospitals, Abuja light rail mass transit project site, goods at dump sites, the sewage treatment plants, was affordable housing projects, Kalishi Water, Apple Kalishi Road,
Krashi Ara Road, rehabilitation of the National Assembly Complex, Lower Usman Dam, and so many other ongoing road projects of the FCT administration. This, Mr. President, is to affirm the submission made by the FCT administration and to also ensure that the money appropriated to the administration 2021 fiscal year is implemented judiciously and in line with the budgetary items as contained in the FCT 2021 Statutory Appropriation Act. Thereafter, Mr. President, the committee reviewed the performance of the FCT 2021 Statutory Appropriation Act and also identified critical areas of need for the development of the territory that will ensure improved standard of living of its inhabitants. In view of this, the committee just with the budget estimates, deploy funds to meet areas of critical needs like, Mr. President, the FCT support to security agencies, health and human services, development of satellite towns, city maintenance, education, roads, water within the territory and satellite towns, city cleaning, rehabilitation and construction of public buildings, transportation of services to include Abuja rail mass transit, provision for countable funds of projects, emergency walls, and to complete rehabilitation of Lower Usman Dam, making provision for perimeter fencing, security, and illumination of the dam. Appraisal of the 2021 FCT Statutory Appropriation Act. An appropriation in the sum of 329 billion 963,491,522 naira only was made to the FCT administration in the 2021 Statutory Appropriation Act. Out of this amount, Mr. President, the sum of 74 billion 323,382,813 naira only, representing 22.52%, was allocated to personal costs. 67 billion 173,250,111 naira only, represent 20.36%, was allocated to overhead costs, while the sum of 188 billion 466 million 858,599 naira only was appropriated for capital expenditures, representing 57.12%, Mr. President. A total sum of 240 billion 562,372,166 naira only was accrued to the FCT administration from January to December 2021 as revenue from various sources, representing 73% of labor performance as shown in the table below, Mr. President. With your permission, may I go to the FCT statutory budget expenditure proposal, page 8. Mr. President, the FCT 2022 statutory budget proposal is in the sum of 607 billion 952 million 23,508 naira only, with expenditure breakdown as follows. Mr. President, personal cost 74 billion 323 million 382,801 naira, representing, Mr. President, 12.59%. Overhead cost, pardon? Page 8, page 8. Okay, I'll go to personal cost. The fourth column, 4.1. 4.1. Personal cost. 76 billion 569 million 904,857 naira only, representing 12.59%, is proposed for personal cost for the year 2022, compared to an appropriation of the sum of 74 billion 139 million 912,289 naira 48 kobo only in the year 2021. This shows an increase of the sum of 2 billion 246 million 522,044 naira only, which represents 3.02% as against the 2021 appropriation. The increase is to accommodate the enrollment of the appointed mandate secretaries and other political appointees of the administration and payment of promotion and arrears of staff. Overhead costs, 138 billion 199 million 851,110 naira only, representing 22.73%, is proposed as overhead costs for the year 2022 fiscal year, against an appropriation of the sum of 67 billion 173 million 250,111 naira only in 2021. This shows an increase of the sum of 71 billion 26 million 600,999 naira only, representing 105.7%, in order to address some critical overhead costs as highlighted below. FCT security services, service-wide contingency, financial services, that is Sukuk and Green Bond, loan repayment to DMO, protocol and passages, logistic support to security agencies, outstanding expenditures on COVID-19, cost of collection of FCT IRS, share of IGR of FCT and FCT IRS to the 6 area councils of the FCT, 5% of total wages as contribution to Pension Reform Act 2004, water treatment chemicals, operation and maintenance of Whooper sewage treatment plants, expenses on city cleaning and sanitation of the territory, maintenance of dump sites in satellite towns, waste evacuation in satellite towns of the FCT, and capital. And now we go to capital expenditures. Page 10. A quick review of the 2022 capital budget estimate are as follows, Mr. President. The sum of 393 billion 182 million 267,000 naira and 14 kobo, representing 64.67%, is proposed as capital expenditure for the year 2022 for the development of infrastructure, with emphasis on completion of ongoing projects. This shows 84.2% increase over the 2021 appropriation of the sum of 188 billion 466 million 858,599 naira only. Out of the proposed capital expenditure, the sum of 150 billion is from Sukuk loan project. The sum of 64 billion is from Abuja Light Rail project, and the sum of 10.1 billion is for rehabilitation of 100 schools in 100 days program, phase 1 of the FCT, while the balance of 199 billion 876 million 193,091 naira is dedicated to the completion of the ongoing capital project and other counterparts funded related projects aimed at enhancing socio-economic development and activities of the FCT. For the capital expenditure, the FCDA is allocated the sum of 175.5 billion, and the satellite town development the sum of 75 billion, while the other SDAs were allocated the sum of 141 billion and 141.4 billion for their capital expenditure to address critical areas like ongoing road construction, completion of water treatment plants, and related facilities, as well as few new projects to be executed. To accelerate the implementation of the budgets, the ongoing projects awarded in 2021 fiscal year statutory budget with contract awarded
I see you go this.